Ladies and gentlemen, this is it. Stand in line for your fix. DeMarcus and Marcus in the mix, serving you yet another round of fish and grits. January 19th equals the last day that Barack Obama will be called our president.
Yeah, man, he's out of here, man. He's checked out. It was a good farewell speech that he did, and it was sad to see him go. But I'm pretty sure he's ready to rest. I'm sure he's ready to kick back, relax. Enjoy some family time because I know it's been stressful.
Oh, no doubt, man. You can tell just from 2008 Barack and Barack of now look completely different. But he's done a lot of positive things. We've talked about it previously, but it was a good run. I enjoyed him being our president. Now we're going to move to the forward and hope for some more positive news. But for today's freshly squeezed news of the day, I feel like we took a little trip into the time machine, man. They dropped the Power Rangers trailer. Man, what was it? 1996? What year did you start watching? I think I remember like 96. I mean,
it started around 1992, and I'm gonna be honest with you. I would like to consider myself kind of a movie critic. I watch and analyze a lot of movies, and looking at this movie, I can tell it's going to be over the top. May not be appeal to everybody, but in being a movie critic, there's a little fandom in me. And if one thing that I can look past the craziness of is Power Rangers. I was raised off Power Rangers. I literally watched Power Rangers from when 1994 with Mighty Morphin Power Rangers to all the way to like 2000 and maybe 4. I stopped watching Power Rangers. I still would, check in to see how it's going. I can really sit up here and name all of it. That's what's pitiful. But looking at this trailer, man, they really, I follow a lot of this stuff, and I've been following it for the past couple of years. And they want to do an updated version, a more realistic take on the original Power Rangers. I know there's been a lot of incarnations of Power Rangers, but they're going with the original version. And the thing that I like that they have a lot of the cast are unknown, so you have no prior work to judge a lot of these characters. Exactly. The only stars that are in there are Bryan Cranston, but he's Zordon. If anybody doesn't know who that is, and then Elizabeth Banks, who plays Rita Repulsa. She's not a well-known name, but if you watch, 40-Year-Old Virgin or Zack and Mary Make a Porno or stuff like that, she's been in a lot of movies. So, it's really going to be interesting to see her take on that. But looking at the trailer that dropped today, man, it's a real nice, realistic take. It looks like it's going to be kind of grounded, and the jokes don't seem too forced. I laughed at some of the jokes with the whole I'm black, and the black guy was saying, hey, you're really not black. But that was pretty funny. And then the Zords, that was my really the thing that I didn't think that was going to look too great, but Zords really look, the computer graphics for this movie are top notch, and you can tell that they Lionsgate spent quite a bit of money on this movie. So I know that I'll be there opening night and trying to check it out and see what it's all about. But I hope it's pretty good.
Oh, no doubt. I may just check it out. It's been a while since I relived my little Power Ranger days, and like I say, the trailer looked pretty good. Everything looked realistic. It don't look too over the top. I seen a little cussing in there, so hey, can't go wrong with that. At least that it's gonna try to attract to the adult audience, or at least the people that grew up watching Power Rangers back then in the '90s. So it may have me. It may have me in hook, line, and sinker. So I'm gonna check it out.
But let me talk about it just for a little bit. The thing about this movie, it has the potential to be the next big thing, and I'm gonna tell you why.
Right.
Power Rangers started back in 1992 with Mighty Morphin. Power Rangers still to this day is still going on, and a lot of people don't know that. But if you have kids or you have younger brothers and sisters, they probably watch Power Rangers. So they're literally capitalizing on 20 plus years of Power Ranger lore, and grabbing fans of all incarnation of Power Rangers, and they're taking those people and they're bringing it to a modern audience. And I like what they've done. And the thing about it, the reason why I say this could be the next big thing, because the first, I want to say, from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers to Power Rangers Zeo to In Space and things, the first 6 years of Power Rangers, they're really, they all played off each other. It wasn't just like, oh, let's erase everything that happened the year before and start another Power Rangers. They all kind of follow the storyline. So if this movie wants to do that, it could get a good 6 movies out of it with different, changing the Rangers up and everything like that. But I think it's going to be pretty big. I'm going to be there, and I hope the audience out there would listen to us and follow it a little bit closer and judge for themselves.
Hey man, I always used to cut for when Tommy had popped up. They need to go ahead and throw that evil Green Ranger in for
man. Talking about he pop up at the end of the trailer.
For real.
At the end of the movie.
Yeah, like
come at the end of the movie, just walking in and be like, I'm ready to fight, and then be like, oh shit, we know who Tommy is. I'll sign me up for the sequel.
For real. Hey, if it's that good, no doubt, sign me up too. There was a lot of players that got signed up today as the NBA starters of the Western Conference and the Eastern Conference. You feel like there's any snubs? Were you able to check out the list yet? I mean, it's like debatable. I mean, you can always argue about Curry and Westbrook on one side.
That's a snub. That's a snub. You can't look over that. You can't gloss over that one, DeMarcus. That was a snub. I mean, we all been talking about Curry. Okay, so Curry's having a down year, and I'm talking about he had a 6-point drop from last year to now, and everybody kind of expected that. But if you really watch a Warrior game, he really struggles to find his shot. And that 3-ball that's always been so his arrow in the back of his backpack, that was always reliable. It's not been falling of late. And then Westbrook has been in the MVP conversation. And for him to get overlooked by the All-Star, not picking him to be a starter is it's kind of amazing to me, because I'm gonna tell you right there, it's that many Golden State fans out there that Curry was able to still get overvoted by Westbrook having this phenomenal year. So that's one thing to look at. But I personally thought Westbrook would be a starter. Curry, I mean, you can pick your poison. Westbrook's still gonna be in there. It's still gonna be one rotation. It's gonna be Westbrook, Durant, and James Harden. I'm ready to see how that's gonna go.
No doubt. Yeah, it should be pretty good. Like I say, on the West, I feel like that may be the only snub. I'm just glad Zaza didn't get in. Thank goodness. But, on the East side, I feel like you can make a couple arguments. It just depends on how you feel about the Eastern players. But I feel like Isaiah Thomas should have been voted in over DeMar. And that's probably a little controversial because, DeMar has been leading that team, and they are second in that particular conference. But Isaiah Thomas is pretty much their best scoring threat in Boston.
Hey, go ahead and read it off for us so everybody can know out there who haven't been following, who made it and who didn't make it.
On the Eastern side, we got Kyrie Irving starting along with DeMar DeRozan, Jimmy Butler, Greek Freak, and LeBron James. On the Western side, we got Curry starting along with Harden, Durant, Kawhi Leonard, and Anthony Davis. I mean, I like both sides of it. I think you can go. It's probably on like a name or two on each side. Like I said, of course, the Westbrook on the West. On the other side, I feel like Isaiah probably should be starting over. I feel like he should be starting over DeMar. Like I said, DeMar's doing this thing, but they probably had to get at least one of the Raptors in there.
Let's be honest. No. Let's be honest. No, DeMar DeRozan deserved to be a starter. Kyrie does not deserve to be a starter. As good as Kyrie has been this whole year, Isaiah's been, I want to say, a step above him with lesser talent.
Yeah,
that's what I want to say. Like, you want to go ahead and honestly, I would take Kyrie off. He needs to be on the bench. It should be Isaiah Thomas. I think that's a huge snub in my opinion, because he's been he's like one of the only player, him and Greek the Freak, that have a consecutive almost 20 games of scoring 20 points a game. That's pretty impressive, to keep up on this long stretch. And they're he's so pivotal to the Celtics. Like the Cavaliers can lose Kyrie and still manage to win games, but if Isaiah go down, they were struggling for a while. So Isaiah is really pivotal, and I think he should have got that starting spot.
So so I feel like we're in agreement as far as like first person off the bench for each side should be Westbrook and Isaiah. But let's talk about the other 6 spots on each side. Let's start with the West. What 6 players would you fill in to complete your Western Conference team?
Man, I want to see Boogie up there.
Okay.
I want to see it. So who made it for the West again? Because this news just broke, so I didn't really get to look at it.
For the West, so far we got Curry, Harden, Durant, Kawhi Leonard, and Anthony Davis. That's who we got. Okay.
Because I was just about to slip up and say Anthony Davis. So I want Boogie. Let's go ahead and sneak. I like Damian Lillard, but Damian Lillard has been. I would want to put C.J. McCollum in there just because he's really been holding that Blazers team together. Honestly,
So Dame or CJ, you got to pick one. Can't have both.
I want CJ. I want CJ over Dame because Dame missed too many games for me.
Okay,
he missed too many games for me. That's the only reason why I couldn't put him in. Like on talent alone, yeah, he deserves to be in there. But you haven't been there when your team needed you. Honestly, I want to put Harrison Barnes in there. He's really been playing probably the most consistent game in the West. If you've really been looking at his numbers,
okay.
I'll throw him in there. Let's see here. I can't put Blake. I can't put Chris Paul because he's hurt right now. So let's go down. Oh, Utah. Let's put. I want to put Gasol in there. Honestly, let's put Conley in there too because Conley's been pretty good, even though he missed a few games, but not as many as Lillard.
All right. Once you put in Gasol and Conley, you got one spot left.
Oh man, this is gonna be pressure. You know who I'm gonna go with? I'm gonna go with. It's gonna be either Hayward. No, I'm just gonna throw Hayward in. I like Hayward. Hayward deserves to be in there.
Gordon Hayward.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So off your bench, you would have Westbrook, Boogie Cousins, Marc Gasol, C.J. McCollum, Harrison Barnes, Mike Conley, and Gordon Hayward.
I mean, if anything, you could take CJ off of there and put man, who would I? Oh man, big dude on with Utah,
Gobert,
Rudy Gobert. Got to put him in there. I'll put him over CJ.
All right, it seems like the players that we agreed on is going to be Rudy Gobert, Boogie Cousins, and Marc Gasol. The three players I got in replace for Harrison Barnes, Mike Conley, and Gordon Hayward would be Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, and Karl Anthony Towns. Those are going to be my three.
Dang, how did I forget about those three, man?
Hey,
I can't believe. Hey, man, it's hard. It's easy to forget about.
Yeah, it's such a limited roster spot. When you only talk about having 7 players on your bench and you already got 5 selected as starters, it's like, man, you think like you have all the amount of space in the world. Like you can reel off 10 players easily, and then you got to take off 3. So
I like your list better. But I would love to trade Draymond for Gordon Hayward. And the only reason why I would say that because I believe Gordon Hayward's been having a more. Draymond seemed like he just switched on the gear to play like Draymond because he wasn't playing like that.
They didn't allow him to, though.
That's true, but I mean, they didn't allow it. Oh well, Gordon Hayward's been playing better than me.
And I'm sorry, it ain't like Draymond can just like, hey, give me the ball, let me try to make some plays.
That's true. They gonna get your big lip behind at it.
The player I probably want to make the biggest case for off your list is probably Mike Conley.
Yeah, solid numbers this year.
Solid numbers. He's starting to earn that contract, and the contract's not even that bad. I mean, the salary cap went up, so it's kind of overinflated.
Got to get your money.
Yeah, probably on a regular year, it's probably like a $80 million contract, maybe $100 million. Not what 132 that he's getting, but Mike Conley's doing this thing for that team. He's really leading them on both sides of the ball. I mean, he is surrounded by a lot of talent. Don't get me wrong, but it takes a strong point guard to especially battle in the West. I mean, when you look at a point guard like Tony Parker, he's never been announced as an NBA starter on the All-Star team, but you consider him an All-Star every year. I seen it was Tony Parker, Paul Pierce, and Ray Allen. Those are like some of the few NBA All-Stars that's never been named a starter.
Man, that's more surprising of Paul Pierce, but man, look at Conley's number. But the thing I like about Conley, why I think he should make the All-Star, 19 points, 3 points, let's say 4 rebounds, and then 6 assists a game. That's pretty good numbers. And Tony Parker
field goal percentage is not that bad. He's finishing plays.
That's true, and then he's really stepped up of late. So there's no telling what he can close out the season with. So I would kind of want him. Him and Gordon Hayward are my 2 reserve players that I wish would make it. That probably won't make it.
I mean, it's possible. I mean, you rarely see people sit out, but if somebody was to get hurt or something, or was just ailing a little bit, just wanted to relax the All-Star weekend, you can definitely see one of those players getting called up.
Depends on the coach and who they're gonna pick. I wonder who the coach gonna be.
It's all about the coach, especially when they talk about the reserves, because they're gonna have the first input as far as I think the first 3. Then everybody else is gonna be like a league vote.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we got on the East side. We already got Kyrie, DeMar, Jimmy Butler, Greek Freak, and LeBron James. We already got a unanimous first selection off the bench in Isaiah Thomas. So let's fill in the last 6. Who you got?
Man, you got to give love to to your boy up in 76er Embiid, man.
He number 2 on my list.
He's been nice this year. I think people are really overlooking his game, and I feel like if the 76ers were able to get more broadcasts, nationally televised game,
I think Ben Simmons back. I think once Ben Simmons get back and he got a playmaker out there, he's gonna start
coming back. All-Star game after All-Star game.
He should be back after All-Star break. And the importance of Ben Simmons is space. And the reason I say space is because everybody knows that if Embiid's in the game, he's getting the ball, and all you gotta do is crowd him. If you actually got another playmaker that can A, create space for Embiid, and B, find his own shot, it should make everything easier for Embiid, who's averaging per 36 minutes 28 points a game, and that's amazing.
Good numbers.
That's amazing for a rookie. I mean, he's just getting his legs back. All right.
So then I would also put in Paul George. Can't leave him out. Let's go ahead and put Paul Millsap in there. I like how Paul Millsap's been playing. Let's go ahead and put John Wall in there. I mean, what I got left?
After John Wall, you're gonna have two more.
Two more. Man, this is tough. Whoo, this is real tough, man. Let's go ahead and put up. Because Washington, John Wall be the only one. Atlanta will be Paul Millsap will be the only one. Let's put Lowry in there. Kyle Lowry in there.
Lowry?
Because I really been like his game. And I can't go D-Wade, can't go Melo. I can probably go Jabari, or I can go. I can't leave out big man with Pistons.
Big man. Drummond. Okay. All right. All right. I think the three that we're gonna have different is definitely Millsap, John Wall, and Drummond. Me personally, I'm putting in Kemba. I'm putting in Kemba over John Wall because that Kemba means a lot. He means a lot more to that Charlotte team than, and that's nothing against John Wall, but that Charlotte team wouldn't be the same without Kemba. John Wall, yes, he's a great creator, great facilitator, and he was just named the Player of the Month last December. And I shouldn't believe him all. I feel like this is the second time I kind of disrespected him, but I feel like Kemba Walker really does deserve that spot. John Wall may get it, but I think Kemba deserves a little bit more for what he's doing with that team. I'll put in Kristaps over Millsap just to get a nick up in there because I don't need Melo in there. So I put in Kristaps.
Man, what's been going on with Kristaps? What's been going on with Porzingis? His game kind of took a slip, a little dip down.
It could be that sophomore slump. You never know. But I still like the overall game he brings. Paul Millsap, he's tough on the defensive side of it. So that'll be a toss up either way it goes. And I'll probably throw in Jabari Parker. I seen you was kind of debating on it, but I'll put him in there. He's doing a lot for that Bucks team. Along with him and the Greek Freak, I feel like that is like the nucleus of the team right there. So as long as they continue to progress, and like I said, he's still getting his legs together. I mean, he had an ACL injury his rookie year. He got his legs back last year, and now he's fully confident. He's elevating. He's jumping higher. He's hustling. He's sprinting up and down the court. Just reward the young man. Show him that, hey, we see what you're doing, and you deserve to be at the All-Star game.
Hey, let me go ahead. Yesterday I was up in at the Rockets game. I was close and personal with the game, and I have to say the Greek the Freak is nice. He's so natural with his game because the thing that's missing from his game is that consistent 3-point shot, because you can see that they give him that open, they give him that space to go take that shot. And if he can work on that on the off season and get added to his game, he's really gonna be sick because his handles are nice. He has good post up game. And the thing about Jabari Parker that I really like is that when the Bucks are down, it seems like the Bucks go more to him than they go to Greek the Freak. So that means that, his team, he's more of the leader of the team. Where, Giannis is more of the, the flashier player, the more person that everybody's going to gravitate to. But Jabari Parker is that hard worker. And he did a whole bunch of nice plays, a lot of and-ones that I really like. So that means that he's really getting that paint. He's really working on his weight. I really appreciate his game.
No doubt, man. The grease is real high right now. Swag out for me. But, when it comes to the Bucks, how I look at it, Giannis is still growing as a player. And the more complete basketball player to me is Jabari Parker because he went through the college system. He had success. Like I say, the injury kind of derailed him as far as his progression. But when he came out that rookie year, he was looking very good in the beginning of the year before he actually suffered his injury. So while Giannis is still growing, like you say, he don't have the confidence to step into a shot. But when we talk about him in transition in the open court, he's probably one of the most dangerous players in the league next to James Harden because you don't know, one, where he's going to be able to take off from, and he can gather himself from the three-point line and finish a play with ease. So, yeah, when it comes to transition, I'll get the ball to Giannis. But if I need to close out a game or I need a solid possession, somebody that's going to take the best shot and the shot actually looks like it could do something, I'm going to go to Jabari Parker every time because he's the better overall basketball player, but the Greek Freak has more potential, hands down.
I like how you wrote that down.
No doubt, no doubt. You know, man, I like talking about the All-Star team. You know, I hope it's gonna be a good lit weekend. They need to go ahead and throw out who they're gonna have in the 3-point shootout and the dunk contest. But
man, I don't, man. That's the one thing I just want to talk about the dunk contest real quick. LeBron James, another knock against LeBron James. I went back and I was, you know, how when the All-Star games start getting close to, you know, NBA teams like the features, like the old school dunk contest, probably 3-point shootout, things like that. LeBron doesn't participate in anything. For him to be that dominant of a player and that well known of a name, he hasn't participated in anything. I mean, I was looking back. Jordan was participating. Magic was participating. Dominique was participating. We had Melo for a year in doing something. Kobe Bryant was in the dunk contest. Like everybody who is of name recognition in the NBA has participated except him. And it blows my mind that he wants to do the showboating dunks and you know, the dunking and everything. And I don't understand it.
Man, no doubt, no doubt. The grease is hot, bro. But you know what LeBron needs to do? He needs to at least participate in one. I mean, he kind of goaded us one year saying that I'm definitely gonna be there next year. And he just kind of like downplayed it whenever they brought it back up. Like, I kind of just changed my mind. Like you said, Jordan did a lot of them. Ray Allen, Larry Bird, they all participated in something just to be part of All-Star Weekend, not just the game where the main game where the All-Stars actually face off. Just do something different. I mean, you know, I don't understand why, because he did all those spectacular dunks in Miami for the pregame dunks, and he do all these amazing dunks during the game. Like, he's probably one of the best in-game dunkers we've seen in our generation, no doubt. But we're missing something. And what I mean by missing something, we're missing that spectacular performance from the All-Star Weekend like Jordan gave us, like Dominique gave us, like even the likes of Gerald Green gave us. Just something to remember you on, especially as a dunker, when you're already this high profile with your in-game dunks. Just give us a little something extra. You know, no doubt, man. What we gonna do? We're gonna have to talk about Jerry Rice. Man, Jerry Rice had probably one of the most controversial commercials I ever seen. I don't know what the hell he was doing. Man, he got a chicken on a helmet. Like, what are you doing, Jerry Rice? For you to be an all-star, well, actually a Hall of Fame player, and you doing these type of commercials. Jerry, come on, man. Popeyes or not. You're going to have to give us something better than this. I mean, you made a complete ass of yourself. Ass of yourself, Jerry. I'm very disappointed because this is the same player that wanted to tell us that all lives matter. Yeah, all lives matter. Then you doing stupid shit like this. You setting us back really? another 25 years, Jerry. You got to do something better than this, man. Did you see it yourself, man?
Yeah, I saw it. I saw a picture about it. I haven't seen the video, but I seen the picture and I just said, man, this dude look crazy. And I always was taken back a little bit when you look at a Popeyes commercial, you see Jerry Rice on there. So you like, man, you are an idol in many football fans' lore, you know, as one of the highest, greatest wide receivers, and probably the greatest wide receiver, you know, no Popeyes doubt. Commercial. Like, you know, you gotta come a little bit harder, man. I personally, I don't mind the invention itself, because I honestly that seemed like a pretty awesome hat to have. You know, you sit up there watching the a football game and you got this. I would have a boneless wing. I don't need no bone. I need to have a boneless wing on mine where I could eat. But Jerry Rice, I feel like you too above this, man. Go get you on a Capital One commercial or go get on the insurance commercial. But Popeyes, man, I don't know. Maybe he's trying to appeal to black people because, in a lot of black people's eyes, he's viewed as a
Uncle Tom.
What do we like to call him? There we go. I didn't want to say it. I didn't say that. It was DeMarcus said that.
No doubt, man. It's just, man. I hate seeing stuff like that. It seems like it's always our people of color that get put in these embarrassing situations or even these circumstances. Like, hey, man, he had a helmet on with a rotating piece of chicken. Are you kidding me? Like I'm so upset. Like I can't even explain like the anger I seen when I watched it. They had him wearing a napkin shirt. He just got barbecue sauce and ketchup just
bro, you know what this reminds me of? Have you ever seen is it the Lipton tea commercials with Mr. T and he's flying like a butterfly? I'm like, is this what you want to do now? Is this where your career has led to?
I just honestly feel like he could have did something better than that. Like, come on, Jerry,
that's a real low, man. That's a real low, in my opinion.
Like it don't get.
But we never know. He probably getting paid because Popeye is pretty popular, so we don't know what he getting.
I hope so because he already embarrassed the hell out of us. So he better be getting something good for it.
Yeah, I hope so.
But speaking of something good, I'm gonna have to revisit one of our old topics, man. I got to talk about a player that was selected to the All-Decade team. One of the few players in NFL history with 50 sacks, 11 interceptions, 15 forced fumbles, and 10 touchdowns receiving.
Man, who's that?
Yeah, exactly. Like when you break it down like that, you probably like, who the hell is this? I'm talking about the new Texans defensive coordinator, Mike Vrabel.
Oh, him. Oh, okay.
Yeah, that guy. I got
person we weren't really talking. I thought he was a popular player, not playing.
No, definitely. I just got to bring it back to the forefront because it was very exciting news to hear that we are going to retain him. He's the new defensive coordinator. Romeo Crennel will be stepping into the role as the assistant head coach. A role that in Atlanta, our boy Raheem Morris is doing. So, hey, it's not a bad position. Especially from Romeo Crennel. You can learn a lot from Romeo. I don't know if a lot of people remember the story back in Kansas City when one of his players actually killed himself in front of him. But it should tell you a lot as a human. For Romeo was the last person he wanted to see. We don't know what kind of conversation they had. I'm pretty sure it's something that probably would never be disclosed. But for a player that was going through a situation like he was to go to Romeo before his last moments of life, before he died, that should tell you a lot about this player. And I'm glad that we didn't let Romeo go. I'm glad he's still going to be on the staff. But Mike Vrabel deserved this, man. I mean, you literally coached 3 players to be all-pro potential off your own.
Yeah, you got to give him some respect and you got to give him some credit. And I thought that also, me and you talked earlier this week, that's a great pickup for him. And I'm glad that he didn't go to the Rams because no telling what he could have been as a coach, a head coach. But I like him with the Texans player. We don't know what Vince Wilfork's career is going to go. I don't know if he's going to call it a day or is going to keep it going. But, having a familiar face, as if you're – just say that you're a hard worker and you've been working hard, it's good to know that you have a familiar face to realize and acknowledge the work that he's seen you put in. So, those people that do need to fill in for Vince Wilfork or whoever we may lose in all season, that they're that familiar face is there to promote them. And then another thing I like is that we kept Romeo because I thought we were going to lose him because I remember there was no contract talk. Honestly, after the playoff game, usually Adam Scheffler comes in and talks about there's contract talks going on or Romeo's talking to this team or that team, but there was no news. So I thought he was going to call it a day and hang it up. But it's good to see him in a better position. And the thing that I want to say kind of saddens me is that we didn't get an offensive coordinator. That's something that I really wish that we would have taken.
Denver took them all. They took all the
they did. They did. There was nobody out there, but I thought we could have at least made a run at somebody at either. There's nobody in the forefront of my mind that I would want to.
The hottest name is Chip Kelly, and I wouldn't want Chip Kelly. I think they butt heads. Something wouldn't work out.
The Texans don't even have an offense for Chip Kelly because that whole hurry up offense don't look like that'll work for Brock because he seems like he needs time to throw the ball, so that wouldn't work. So I guess there's no telling what Bill can do in the offense because we haven't seen it enough to see. I think another year with him and Brock, maybe it works out, but honestly, I'm gonna keep it real with you. Texas not going none without a quarterback. That's the thing that I need them to address. That's the thing in the offseason that they need to address and they need to fix. Either Brock, please restructure your contract, or let's just boot him and try to go the Tom Savage route and just roll with him. I don't know because Brock is not the answer, and I don't see the Texans going any further. I really doubt us seeing us make the playoffs next year if we still have Brock as our quarterback. Because I'm gonna tell you why. We have Jacksonville we got to worry about, the Titans next year, and then we still have to worry about good old Andrew Luck down in Indianapolis, and we still have to worry about him every year because you can never count Andrew Luck out, and he always owns the Texans. So that's what we really need to fix. But it's great that we kept the people that we have, and our team is staying intact.
No doubt. And like you said, the other key thing about Romeo is because you can't allow a person that just coached the number one defense to just walk away. At least keep him in to teach Mike Vrabel how to be a defensive coordinator. So he's going to be pretty much watching over Vrabel, making sure that he's putting everybody in the right position to make plays because he's already teaching them how to use their hands as a linebackers coach. He can even get down there on the D-line. He coached D-line back in college. So he's really a technician, and that's a coach that you want that actually knows how to play the game of football. And now you pair him with a coach who just got a promotion, and he also led the team to the number one defense in NFL. So you're not really losing anything. You're only gaining because you're gaining an assistant head coach in Romeo Crennel, and you're gaining probably one of the best or could be the best defensive coordinators in Mike Vrabel, and he already has the resume to prove it from what I just told you. But let's talk about the coach for a minute because Andrew Luck did just have his shoulder surgery, and this screams to me that he's going to need more protection. I think the smartest thing he did, though, he said his shoulder's been bothering him since 2015. He waited until he got that big contract to get his arm fixed.
Yeah, because there's no telling what Andrew Luck may look like this year because a shoulder injury is as important is as important of a injury, a significant as an injury as if a linebacker had a back injury like J.J. Watt or something like that, because it can either you can recover from it and you can still do well, or it can really set your career back in. I'm hoping that it doesn't set his career back because Andrew Luck is a special talent. I hear many people talking about it, and over recent years with the injury back in 2 years ago, and the team not making the playoffs last year. People seem to forget about Andrew Luck because, you have the flashy quarterbacks, the good talk about Matt Ryan, Aaron Rodgers and things like that. And people forget about Andrew Luck, but he's probably one of the most impressive young talents in the league. And yes, Derek Carr has his talents, but he's no Andrew Luck. Andrew Luck is probably will finish as one of the greatest quarterbacks ever because you see all the potential there, but they really need to address the offensive line, but it always seems like it's the Colts. It's upper management, and I'm going to tell you why, because it's always – they've known this for years that they need to fix the offensive line. But what do? Oh, look at that shiny little wide receiver over there. Let's grab him. Oh, look, another good wide receiver. Let's go draft him. They don't make the right draft picks. Maybe they need to get somebody, a better scouter. Maybe they need to get somebody that – they need to change their upper management. And then – I don't like that Chuck Pagano got signed back because I feel like that whole team needs a more stern coach that knows how to call better play calling for Andrew Luck because there's a lot of plays. They put too much emphasis. It's management's fault that they don't have a more dependable running back because Frank Gore can only do so much, but they need a dynamic back there to help and take the pressure off of Andrew Luck. And Pagano, he doesn't call the greatest plays for Andrew Luck. He always finds himself in a lot of third and long, or they can't convert on third and long, or in like pressure situations, he's calling the wrong play. So that's something else that I wish they got changed. So the Texans have to worry about the Colts going forward because they have Andrew Luck. But on the other flip side of the coin is Andrew Luck has to worry about the Colts still not helping him out for him to flourish. So
I believe they took Bust out of Florida State, Bajon Warner, I believe. They took him first round. Then they took Philip Dorsett, and then they traded away a first-round pick for Trent Richardson.
Trash.
Now, it's nothing wrong with Philip Dorsett, but those are 3 picks that could have went the Dallas route. You could have got you 2 guards, maybe a tackle. Mm-hmm. I mean, you addressed the center position when you drafted Ryan Kelly last year, so it seemed like you started, but you kind of 4 years too late because you're supposed to build around your rookie quarterback while the salary's cheap.
Exactly.
Now you waited till he's going to cost you $125 million plus, and now you want to start giving him a center, and now you may go out there and get a lineman. Well, you wasted 4 good years. And along with those four years, not only did you waste those picks, then you went out and you signed some bust on defense. Like a lot of unknown players that didn't produce.
And then you just lost one of your major defensive players due to retirement this year, and there's no telling what's going to go down with that.
Yeah, Robert Mathis.
Robert Mathis. Yeah. Hey, man, he hasn't been locked down in a while, but he was the best thing on that Colts defense. But
I think after they caught him with the steroid situation, I think he kind of started to decline.
Oh man, he denied that up and down. If you saw them videos,
oh come on, man, they all do. Even Antonio Gates do it.
Man, Antonio Gates, man, Antonio Gates look like my grandpa out there trying to catch football. I don't know why he's not rep. Man, Antonio Gates is really wanting some money, man, because he wants that. He's tied the touchdown record. Sit down so other players can flourish.
Yeah, let Hunter Henry.
Let Hunter Henry start balling.
He's ready.
He's too good. He's too good.
Yeah, he was about as great as you can be at the tight end position for a rookie. I believe he was top 10 in touchdowns. If I'm not mistaken. Maybe top 5. But I know he was at least top 10 in touchdowns.
I think he had like 6 or 7 on the season.
I mean, the leader was 8. That was Cameron Brayton. He had 8. That led the league. So
nice.
It won't take much. I definitely can see him being a star. I don't know how the new offense is going to treat him, but if he comes into training camp as the number 1 tight end, Hunter Henry should be a top 10 tight end next year.
Yeah, but like we were saying, the Colts need to really fix the offensive line. And like you said, it's too late. And I'm gonna be honest with you. Do the Colts want to think about trying to trade Andrew Luck and rebuild? Can't afford to. See, all your choices are done, so you're really not going anywhere no time soon. So maybe Skip Bayless was right that Andrew Luck is never gonna win a ring.
He may at least not with this owner and this GM and this coach, and that's a bad trifecta to have because at least one of them will be there, if not 2 of them, and that may be the owner unless they decide to sell. I think first person out the door would be Chuck Pagano if they ever was to make a move. It seemed like Grigson's on the good side of ownership. I don't understand how he's doing a terrible job as a GM, and he's the one that actually criticized himself, saying that we couldn't put help around Andrew Luck because we had to pay him. You had 4 years, actually 5 years, because they got an extra year whenever they go in the first round. So you had 5 years to get all this done.
Man, let's go ahead and let me think about this. So Sean Payton, you remember there was a whole discussion about Sean Payton might take over as the Colts head coach?
Yeah.
That's what the coach should have done because Sean Payton at the end of the day,
didn't want to go. Sean made I think it was a damn good decision.
He didn't. Yeah, you have to think about that because if I have Drew Brees as my quarterback, I wouldn't want to leave either because there's no one as good as Drew Brees. There's no one that works as hard as Drew Brees, and there's no one that's accomplished as much as Drew Brees. But if I was him, the Colts are literally the same team as the New Orleans Saints. And let me tell you why. Because the things that Drew Brees can do, Andrew Luck can do. The same way that Andrew Luck can make these Moncrief and Philip Dorsett and Dwayne Allen. Then they have T.Y. Hilton. He makes those players look way better than they are, same as Drew Brees. Because like if a Michael Thomas was on,
I don't know, Mike Thomas is tough.
Man, he's tough. He's tough, but I feel like Drew Brees makes him as he's a replacement. He's like he fills in as Philip. Man, what's his name? That just retired from the Saints, wide receiver.
Oh, Marquise Colston?
That's all he's doing is filling that role for him. And that's Drew Brees' favorite target in midfield or in the red zone, which Michael Thomas filled. Now there's
answer me this before you finish. Which three? Snead, Cooks, and Thomas, or Dorsett, Hilton, and Moncrief? Which three you like?
Yeah. Honestly, that's be for real. I like Andrew Luck's squad, and I'm gonna tell you why.
You like Andrew Luck?
Let me tell you why.
Man.
Phil Dorsett is really good. Moncrief would be like the Michael Thomas of the team.
But
honestly,
I think Michael better.
He is better. But guess what? I would want to go to them because you have two tight ends who can kill in the red zone. So I wouldn't. You have Jack Doyle and you have Dwayne Allen. So you don't really need a wide receiver red zone threat like like New Orleans need, because Coby Fleener's trash. Like Drew Brees couldn't make Coby Fleener look good, but Andrew Luck made Coby Fleener look good. And I just really think that if Sean Payton really wanted to go with a more younger quarterback, a more stable quarterback going forward, because Drew Brees not getting younger. Andrew Luck's getting older, but he's still young, relatively young. I would have took on that coaching position, and the coach really should have made a move towards him and sold him on that pitch, because both teams really rely on their quarterback, and their defenses, are really not that great. But at least the Colts defense is semi better than the Saints, even though the Saints did play better the second half of the last season.
I'm pretty sure they had like a disagreement on the GM situation, because I don't think Sean Payton just would have went in there with blind eyes to the situation, knowing the kind of GM that he would have been working for. So
Irsay is a trip.
Yeah, exactly. And then you seen I believe this year they tried to go after John Gruden and Peyton Manning. That didn't quite work out. And it seemed like it was Peyton Manning that they went after first, and Peyton was the first one to say no. Then they went after John Gruden. So it's clearly something going on in Indy.
Do you think that Peyton Manning would want to coach?
I don't think they want to bring him on as a coach. I personally think they want to bring him on as a general manager and have him go to John Elway route, because I'm pretty sure he learned something under John Elway. It's no way that you have a meeting with John Elway and you decide to go to Denver and he don't show you some kind of ropes. At least keep in contact with you and let you in on what he's actually doing as a general manager. I'm sure he picked up a few things.
He had to, because you know what? Peyton Manning, as great as Peyton Manning wasn't relevant to crowd because he was good in the football fans' eyes, but no one really knew nothing about it. Now you see Peyton Manning on these nationwide commercials, or these Papa John commercials, or him just being so charismatic all of a sudden. It just seemed like when he got to Denver, his whole demeanor just changed, because he was kind of like in his prime years, like how Kobe was just really nowhere. And then when Kobe got a little bit older, he was like, oh, Kobe's in a 2K commercial. Oh, Kobe's in a McDonald's commercial. Like, okay, that same with Peyton Manning. And I say that I think John Elway, he created branding for Peyton Manning. Now, Peyton Manning had to have learned something from him.
I'll give a little credit to John Elway, but I feel like for what you just said, when you bring up Kobe and Peyton Manning, you can also throw in Tom Brady in that situation. But my reasons probably be a little bit different. I think toward the end of your career, Tom Brady, just talk.
I'm sorry, DeMarcus. I'm sorry. I was watching this Knicks game and Porzingis just smashed on somebody. I'm sorry. It took me by surprise, and it just took me out the podcast. I'm sorry. Back to you.
Oh, no, it's all good, man. But, some of these older players, like once they start to wind down the end of their career, you got to look at Tom Brady. He started doing commercials after he already had 3 rings, didn't expect to get a 4th. Mm-hmm. Peyton Manning started doing commercials, like you said, once he got to Denver. Kobe started doing commercials after all his injuries. You see a lot of these players, they start to get comfortable with their career, where it's like they really don't have anything else to prove. Well, you see a lot of other players, they try to team hop to get that championship. But when you got some of the players that won so early in their career, then they can actually start to enjoy being an athlete because they know that the end is near. So that's why they try to actually start creating their brand more. And it's not like the Antonio Browns and Odell Beckhams, they trying to create their brand right now.
Right now.
Knowing they still have another possibly, without injury, 5 to 10 years left in their career. The premier athletes that we seen growing up, they didn't start doing commercials to the tail end of their career, like you just said. So it's just a different aspect.
It's a flip flop. Yeah, it's flip flop, man. It's crazy how
it's the new generation, though. You know,
it is
because everybody's trying to the Facebook Live, like Antonio. I know we haven't really talked about it. I was very disappointed with this whole situation because your coach is clearly telling you, all right, guys, let's keep a low profile, no social media. And what you doing?
Down.
And what you doing?
On Facebook Live, not saying nothing, just like.
Just like,
and everybody in the background, these bunch of nobodies.
They not making it no better. They not listening. Are you Antonio Brown? You need to be up there listening. You need to be in the other room.
That's why they on the bench. Most of them people was bench players because we never seen none of them.
You know, I'm just glad you didn't see the likes of Big Ben or Le'Veon Bell and that saying, I
was hoping I was gonna see Big Ben pop up. Like I honestly, when I first saw the video, it was the one where he was it just seemed like Mike Tomlin was on the end of his speech. And I thought I was going to see like Big Ben pop up, do something goofy, and then Le'Veon Bell moonwalking in the background or something funny. But then I saw there was more videos while all this is going on. I said, dang, Antonio, that's not a good look.
So, yeah, it's just a change in the guard. And, you know, I'm going to throw a few more examples now that I think about it. Look at Jason Witten. Jason Witten started to do commercials. Drew Brees started to do commercials. Aaron Rodgers started to do commercials. The biggest difference between all those players, they all have rings except Jason Witten. But Jason Witten is probably at that stage to where, you know what? I had a hell of a career. I'm a Hall of Famer. I'm content. Let me start to create my brand. Jason Witten is a face that you can definitely see on like a Fox or a ESPN. You can see him out there. He's creating that brand. Same thing with Drew Brees and Aaron Rodgers. They're creating their brand. They already have their rings. Of course, you want to add more. You can add more along the road, but you still want to create your brand for post-football because football will not last forever. So you're just starting to see.
I like how you brought that up because today. I came home and I like to watch Undisputed. You know, if people out there don't know who Undisputed is, it's the new FS1 show with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp. What'd you say?
Say it's a hell of a show. I like how they.
It is, man. Shannon Sharp,
he's great on TV. He's underrated. Yeah.
He did a whole 360 from when he used to be on CBS.
I don't think he was comfortable. I don't think he was comfortable with 5 people. It's hard to conversate with 5 people.
He's good. He's real good. He's a damn good analyst. But I was watching that, and then after that, you know, Colin comes on there. Coward show comes on. The Herd comes on, and Reggie Bush was on there. Reggie Bush is really a great analyst and a well-spoken person, but I never would have known that because he never showcased none of that. Right. He always looked so depressing. But when he was on here, I said, man, he should have got ready for broadcasting because he's kind of at the tail end of his career. That he should have got ready for broadcasting because I can easily see him fitting on to like an NFL network TV show or maybe getting picked on FS1 because FS1 seems like they're on the come up right now. But he's really articulate. I like his insight on different matters because other than just football, he can talk about things that's going on in today's world and give you a good articulate answer and talking about the Antonio thing. And another player, Aaron Rodgers, as cocky as Aaron Rodgers is, he was on the Dan Le Batard show. He is well informed individual, and he just seems like there's a lot of knowledge in that man. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of knowledge and there's a lot of humility because if you listen to him talk, you seem like he's a down-to-earth person, but he just knows he's the shit. So, you know, there's no way I can just get mad at the person that knows that he's the shit because if I was the shit, I probably would carry a type of swagger too, but I can't hate on that. But he's very well informed and he talked about the Antonio Brown situation and but he did it in a way that he didn't take shots at anybody. But he made you think like, man, you know what? I like the way you presented that. And I just want to give them a shout out that I hope they find a broadcasting career after football.
Especially Reggie Bush. I think the hardest thing for Reggie Bush as far as finding a job, because let's just be real. It's the skin color, you know, because every player that I just went down the list was a person of white skin. So it's gonna be harder. It's gonna be harder for Reggie Bush to get out there and start his career when you don't have the legacy of a Peyton Manning, a Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, who are all quarterbacks to begin with. And it's hard for like those receivers and running backs to get on TV. I think one person who really set themselves up was Ike Turner. Ike Turner. I think he got that job at the NFL Network based strictly off what he was doing for the top 100. He was great. Like Ike Turner was probably broke down every player. Like for everybody they named, Ike Turner had a story behind. And I think that's probably what got him the job at the NFL. It's like, hey, once he retires, get him in here. Maurice Jones-Drew's kind of the same thing.
Yeah, he's good on his fantasy segment and stuff like that. But it's amazing that some of these football players that they just kind of shoe home and they kind of force you to like, or force you into TV. But there's some that's out there that were made for TV and made for analyst positions. But I was thinking about this, and I know that we're running a little bit longer. But let me ask you,
we're good.
Let me ask you a question. So there was something I thought about. Reggie Bush he was okay in the NFL, but he wasn't that great. Think about this. The four greatest people in college football never lived up to that in NFL. And I'm gonna be honest with you, Vince Young, Reggie Bush, Johnny Manziel, Tim Tebow. All of those were beyond college football. All four of those players. I can't think of any other college people besides those four that were transcended from college football, because everybody, even if you didn't watch college football, you knew who Vince Young was, you knew who Reggie Bush was, you knew who Johnny was, and you knew who Tebow was. Now, some people may know like the C.J. Watson, something, but I'm talking about globally known. But they really didn't transition to the NFL well. And the thing that I took out of that, because Reggie Bush talked on that, I think, and he said that you should enjoy college, but you should work hard in college to stand out more for the NFL and not do it in college. He said that he wish he would have known that while he was in college, and that he should have stayed more low key and then got ready for the NFL, because it's like success hits you too fast when you get into the NFL, when you are that known of a player that you're not ready for. I said, dang, Reggie Bush is going to be good.
No doubt. I feel a little different about Reggie Bush, because this one player in college, he was looking out for his family, and it's hard. Like, we don't know what kind of background Reggie Bush came from. All I know is he played high school football with Alex Smith, and they went on to win state. But outside of the glitz and glamour that you're getting from these state championships, how's your household? So as a African-American college athlete, if I'm going to a school and they're going to put my mom in a house, and like I said, I don't know what kind of background he came from, it's going to be hard for me to turn that down. So
it's true.
It's hard for me to blame him on staying focused when he know, like, in the back of his mind, the illegal things that he's doing. Okay. And then on top of doing the illegal things, he's also putting on performance after performance of Heisman caliber plays every weekend in the punt return game, kick return game, receiving game, and the rushing game. He was the most electrifying athlete I ever seen play college football. He was. That the flips that he did, like to score, that was trademark. It's like, oh shit, here come the Reggie Bush flip.
Here we go.
It was literally a football drill called the Reggie Bush drill, where you just flip onto a mat. Okay, so it's hard for me to blame him as far as not focusing in college, but when it comes to the NFL, he still was able to churn out 1,000 yards. He showed that he can run between the tackles with Miami. He won a Super Bowl and scored in a Super Bowl with the Saints. He was not an every down running back, but he was a hell of a weapon, and he produced almost everywhere he went outside of the injuries. But everybody gets hurt. You can't blame him for getting hurt, but he always bounced back and he always came through and produced.
Bro, that injury that he got with the 49ers was ridiculous. That was so sad.
He just laid
I laughed because I saw him jogging off the field after a play, and he slipped and fell, and I was like, Reggie fell. And then at the bottom it said torn ACL. I was like, what? I said, poor Reggie Bush, man. Reggie Bush was going through it.
So I can
the Kardashian curse. Oh my Lord.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
Real.
Okay.
It's real. I think it's real, DeMarcus.
I can agree with that, but no, Reggie Bush did not live up to the hype. But to say he wasn't productive is a different story. He was productive, but he wasn't second overall pick productive. And you can kind of say the same thing about Vince Young. Vince Young had a little bit of success. He was probably one of my favorite college quarterbacks, but I still to this day believe his career would have been a little bit different if Jeff Fisher had his back. Jeff Fisher didn't have Vince Young back. For a player to go missing for days at a time, something had to be told to him. It wasn't a vote of confidence for Vince Young, because how do you go from a 10-6 record, making the playoffs, rookie of the year, to just flaming out as fast as he did without the support? And if you if you look at anybody talk about Vince Young, like seriously, they always say, "Oh, Vince Young was an ultimate team player. He always cared about the team." You barely hear bad things about Vince Young outside of his turnovers on the field. Outside of the field, he was a great man, and he had a positive attitude about everything. But if you don't have the confidence in your coach, of course you're gonna flame out that quick because you know your coach is ready to replace you with Kerry Collins. You hear me? Kerry Collins.
Hey, you know, Jameis reminds me of Vince Young, if you want to be truthful, because he just seems like that type of rah-rah person. Everybody galvanates too. And he has that, that double threat.
I definitely agree with
take down people.
I see the Vince Young and Jameis, no doubt. And that's probably why I'm a big fan of, because I always wanted Vince Young to succeed. Don't get me wrong.
I did too. He was impressive.
Maybe it was because the fact that he was a Houston kid, so you kind of seen, it felt like you was growing up with Vince. It's like, all right, Vince, do your thing in the Rose Bowl, bring Texas this title, and let's go to the NFL, do some big things. He showed Houston what was up his rookie year. So,
watch that 30 for 30. Watch that 30 for 30 on the Rose Bowl, boy. You'll be impressed. If you don't know about the Reggie Bush and Vince Young.
Yeah, I'm just gonna have to check that out. So
and Matt Leinart.
Oh my goodness! Nah, he was just sorry. He just had solid players all around him.
Just trashing in the field. But continue.
I really don't have much to say about Johnny Manziel, but when it comes to Tim Tebow, I think Tim Tebow could have been a great NFL player if he moved to tight end or played fullback full time. He could have played at least 10 or 15 years in this league, especially at tight end. Because I think he would have been a weapon, but he's a football player who felt like he should have been a quarterback. You can't get mad at that. He got a winning season on his record. He got a playoff victory on his record over the Steelers in the Mike Tomlin era, knocking them out the playoffs in the first round.
Demaryius Thomas was amazing on that play. That was Demaryius Thomas all day, every day.
It was Demaryius Thomas all day, every day. I'm
gonna be honest with you. Demaryius Thomas is the reason why Brock Osweiler. I'm not Brock Osweiler. Yeah, he's the reason why Brock looked good. He's the reason why Tebow looked good. Demaryius Thomas is the most underrated wide receiver in the NFL right now, and I'm gonna put that up to that because I feel like Demaryius Thomas is as good as Julio Jones, Odell Beckham, and things like that. And I just feel like he has outside pressures with the whole thing about his mom and his family. In the whole uncertainty of that whole organization and what they want to do with him. I feel like that dude is so good, but nobody talks about him. Him and Emmanuel Sanders, the two most underrated wide receivers in the league, to be honest with you.
No, I can agree with that. When you look at Demaryius Thomas, when you talk about the height, the size, the speed, like he has the full package. I mean, yes, his hands are sketchy, but if as long as he catching at least 60% of those passes, it really don't matter because everybody drop passes.
Let me ask you. I'm gonna always remember this. 2 years ago, I'm sorry to say this. 2 years ago, the Broncos were playing Kansas City. Drops a dime on Demaryius Thomas, and he outruns and burns Patrick Peterson. Nobody burns Patrick Peterson. Demaryius put him in a foot race and smoked him. Oh my God. I said Demaryius Thomas is now my favorite wide receiver. He's fallen out of that category because Mike Evans, my love for Mike Evans.
It's the quarterback.
It's true, but I still could have been a fan of his, but Mike Evans kind of just took my fandom away from Demaryius Thomas because I just really like Mike Evans, but Demaryius Thomas is amazing.
I probably have to say Mike Evans is the reason why I really didn't want to talk about Johnny Manziel. Look at the weapon that he had. He had literally a top 5 NFL receiver that he was throwing to. So it's kind of hard to say that his sex was going to translate. And then you already know running quarterbacks don't last that long. And Johnny ran a lot in college. It's because he was a better athlete than most other people. But I never thought he was going to translate to the NFL. I never want to stop that.
Bro, one day on our podcast we're gonna do our top 10 wide receivers of current NFL. We're gonna talk about that and top 10 running backs. Boy, it's gonna be a good discussion.
Oh, no doubt. We may end up doing it sometime next week. You never know. But let's go ahead and end this show with the catch of the day. What you got for us?
I got my fishing rod ready. I'm ready to grab it. So what we talking about? So what we're going to start doing going forward, we're going to start doing the catch of the days, which is going to be split up in our first podcast of the week and our last podcast. Our first podcast of the week is going to cover the music aspect of the catch of the day. So new artists, a new song that we had heard, a new album, a mixtape, whatever it is, we'll discuss that. And then on the last podcast of the week, we're going to talk, our catch of the day is going to be TV shows or movies. So this week, I haven't seen as many movies or caught up with some of the films, but there's a TV show I want to talk about. And the show is going to be called Sherlock. Now, Sherlock has been going on for, I think it's in its 4th season right now. And what Sherlock is a BB series. And what that is British Broadcasting Channel. And what it is covers Sherlock Holmes and Watson and their many adventures. And what it is what's so unique about Sherlock is you say, oh, 4 seasons, that's a lot of episodes I catch up on. But no, it's only 3 episodes per season. And each episode are an hour and 30 minutes long. And what's so unique about this is like a mini movie, 3 mini movies in a season. So the thing that I like about that is I like the structure. But another thing is Benedict Cumberbatch is probably the most unique person I've ever seen. And he's starting to translate into the American audience with movies known as Doctor Strange and Star Trek Into Darkness and things of that nature. Really captured the essence of what Sherlock Holmes is. And he's kind of turned on what we thought Sherlock Holmes has always been. We all thought Sherlock Holmes was just a detective that smoked a pipe, that solved cases. But this guy, he shows you the mental aspect and the mindset of somebody that smart, and it displays it in such a way that as the audience, you capture and you can understand how smart this man is without knowing a person ever this smart. And it's a great show. And I know Robert Downey Jr. has a version out there that's more, I want to say, more action driven, but this one is more intellectual driven. And also there's a few action scenes in there. And then also you have his partner Watson played by Martin Freeman, who is also a great counterpart to Benedict Cumberbatch. And they really have a nice chemistry that goes. Sometimes it borderlines on what we would like to call gay. And, you know, they may scare some people away. But their friendship is really, really close. And I really enjoy the show. And I feel like the show should be watched more by people, not your average people. That's why I want to broadcast it on this podcast, because it's really a highly rated show. But I know enough people that I know haven't watched something like this. So maybe if I talk about it a bit, they'll give it a look. And then also there's another show that ended, I want to say last year. It's in its 1st season. It's going to go into the 2nd season. The 2nd season premiere this year. It's called Into the Badland, and it's on AMC. And what this show is, it's about there was a huge war that happened, and the world is now split up between 5 different factions, and each faction is controlled by a baron, and a baron oversees his side, his crop that he grows, and they all do trade, and they have these things called clippers, which are their warriors. They outlawed guns and things of that nature, and they have these clippers, which are basically soldiers that fight with swords and or knives or things of that nature. So there's a lot of kung fu influenced into the show, and I'm not going to really go into details, because if I tell you too much, I'm going to give away too much. What I'll tell you about the show is the action, for one, is top of the line. This is movie-based type action that you would normally see in an action film like The Matrix, or let's say some of your Chinese films, the Ong Bak and things of that nature, with a lot of the top martial arts. And the show really captures a lot of that. And it's a great storyline, and it's intertwined throughout each episode. The episodes it's like 10 episodes, 45 minutes each. It's on its 1st season, so you don't have too much to catch up on. I'm really impressed by the acting, as well as the story, as well as the action. But if you always need something that's different from the norm, something that takes you away from your sports, or maybe you have to watch Love and Hip Hop or Mary Jane like DeMarcus has to do with your girlfriend, and you want to get away and watch something else, that's something that you should tune into. So that's for our catch for today.
No doubt, man. Y'all just got 2 good shows that you can catch up on. If you want to catch up on any of the latest and greatest content that we have, KFOBradio.com. Also go to our Facebook page at KFOB Radio. What can they find you at on Facebook, Mark?
Oh, you can find me always at Marcus Griffin on Facebook, or you can catch me on Instagram at McGriff the critics. That's McGriff _ the THA _ critic on Instagram, and that's where we'll be posting all our latest content on my page. Since I never really go on Instagram because I see no reason to.
Hey, there's no problem with that. Definitely, if y'all want to get in touch with us, just definitely go to our website on Facebook. From there, you'll easily find either one of us on there. You got to realize, man, we haven't really just talked about it, but we have an amazing platform right here. And what we're trying to do is Black intelligent talk. We're just trying to touch base with our audience and just give you some good content to feed on. And I just want to take this time to tell everybody, invest in yourself. Because if no one else can believe in you, you have to be able to believe in yourself. And what we're doing with this platform is investing in ourselves. And we're hoping that you can take some type of knowledge from us and make your life better and make your days better as we move into the new generation with our new president. Let's always continue to be positive and think positive thoughts. And at the end of the day, we'll all come out as champions. But as for now, this has been Fish and Grits, and you guys have just been served.
I hope y'all enjoyed.